All right, let's get going. So, hello everyone. My name is Jay Daniel Gomez. I'm a career counselor here at the Career Development Center at Fresno State, and I'll be your MC or moderator for this alumni panel around careers in the construction industry. So, we are very fortunate to have a very diverse set of not only professionals, but folks in this industry, and they'll tell us a bit about their background and share with us some insight about their career path, things they did as students here at Fresno State that helped them prepare for uh, that transition from being a student to a professional. So we'll get going right away. It looks like our Q&A feature is live, so you can ask questions there. We're working to try to get our chat feature back on. But if you have questions, feel free to ask throughout the webinar. We'll move through a couple of questions that we have for our panelists, but if it's a burning question, we'll try to sneak one in there. So on that note, let me pass it to our set of panelists if they're going to tell us a bit about themselves, what they're doing now, and what degrees they earned from our university. So go ahead, and we're starting with McKenna. Go for it.
Hi, everyone. My name is McKenna Bass. I am the Director of Business Development for a local civil engineering firm, Precision Civil Engineering. And I was a Craig School of Business graduate in 2016, and I got my emphasis in marketing. While I was a student at Fresno State, I was in a sorority, so I was in Kappa Alpha Theta. So that was a great way to meet new people and do some networking early on in my college years. And then also as one of my courses for my marketing class, I did an internship. I really thought I was going to be going into real estate. That was my hopes and goals when I entered into college. So I actually worked for a local builder. I worked for McCaffrey Homes as an intern during my years at Fresno State, which was really helpful. It actually kind of jump started my career into like the local builder scene here in the Central Valley, and then eventually landed me to where I am today.
All right, Dave, you want to continue it? Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Dave Johnson. I'm Director of Project Management for Span Construction and Engineering in Madera. Been here for 4 years. I graduated from Fresno State in the then IT department under construction management in 1987, Bachelor of Science degree. While I was attending school, I was active in the Students in Construction, was a founding father of the Sigma Lambda Chi. So those are 2 credits I have while I was there. Worked my way through college, different construction companies here in town. One of them was Moen Dorfmeyer. Then upon graduation, I went to work for Harris Construction at the cheese processing plant. So Pablo, you got a good company there. It's a great place to start.
All right, Pablo, you want to continue it?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Pablo Cabrera. I currently work for Hearst Construction Company Incorporated as an assistant superintendent. I graduated with my bachelor's degree in construction management in December of 2019, and then a few months later, I decided to go back and started working on my master's education. And last year, in May of 2022, I graduated with my bachelor's, not with my bachelor's, with my master's in construction management. While I was a Fresno State student, I was part of the Associated General Contractors student chapter, the Construction Management Association of America student chapter. I was also part of CAMP, the College Assistance Migrant Program, and I was part of the design build team for the Associated Schools of Construction. And as far as internships, I worked for a construction company in the San Diego area for two summers back in 2018 and 2019 until I graduated and decided to stay local out here in Fresno.
Nice. Well, we're lucky to have you around, Pablo. Eric, you want to go for it?
I have to follow McKenna, David, and Pablo. Man, I should have went first. Anyway, my name is Eric Armenta. I'm a senior new home professional with the Young Properties. I majored in business administration with an emphasis in marketing and a minor emphasis in special event planning. So I graduated in 2010. I pledged Kappa Sigma and participated in a nonprofit organization for an internship. And I worked in the Career Development Center with Adrian Ramirez, actually, once upon a time ago. And I give a great deal of credit to Adrian for guiding me in the right direction. And that's what we're here to do for all of you.
Hi, I'm April Rodriguez. I'm a controller at Macmillan IT Engineering. I graduated in 2006 with a degree in business administration with an option in accountancy. The only thing I really did on campus was worked in the concessions. So that was interesting. But since then, I've gone from manufacturing to construction and now into the IT industry. So that's one good thing about accounting, right? All businesses need accounting. So
Awesome. Thank you all for your introductions and letting us know where you're currently working and some of your background. The next question is for folks with the business background. So can you tell us what inspired you to pursue a career specifically in the construction industry?
okay, I think I'm up first. Initially, I was given an opportunity to work at Lyle's, and they're, pretty large company here in the Valley. They're well established and they have all their processes and procedures in place. Um, it was it was probably where I've learned the most as far as the accounting structure. And so I got to see the different side of accounting because construction accounting is a little bit different than regular accounting. There's some extra reports that go along with that.
All right. I actually was at a career fair with Adrian, and he had told me to go speak to DeYoung Properties. I was at that career fair. I went to a lot of employers, dressed up, had my resume ready, and I visited a bunch of employers that day. And then I was done, and he had told me, he's like, "Hey, you know what? Go talk to them. Go talk to DeYoung." And I didn't know who they were actually, so I went to go talk to them. I interacted with them and had a great first impression. I knew I wanted to get into sales and helping people at the same time. I just didn't know in what regard or fashion I was going to be doing that. So I had the option of either relocating to Sacramento to begin a career with Northwestern Mutual at the time. The rep was Stephanie, a really friendly representative out there, or stay here in Fresno with a local builder. And I chose DeYoung Properties because of their family and my impression with them.
So kind of like what I spoke about, I got an internship with McCaffrey Homes while in college. I was very curious and interested in real estate because I just loved architecture and home design, truthfully. So that was kind of what jump started me there. After college, I actually got set up with Granville Homes and I was doing new home sales with Granville. And what they don't tell you, and Eric can probably attest to this, when you're selling a new home, you also have to know how homes are built and the construction behind them and how they start from like their pads and then go all the way through like a fit and finish to when you're delivering keys to a homeowner. So I was always like in the field with my superintendents around our subdivisions, kind of walking in different phases and understanding the construction side of home selling from that end. And then now that I work at a civil engineering firm, we do have a construction management side division as well, but it's kind of become full circle because now we do all the subdivision, utility, and master plan grading work for not all, but most of the local builders here in the valley. So it's kind of made it a full circle. I'm now on the front end seeing how all the subdivisions are created and made, but I've also been on the back end when you're delivering keys to a homeowner once their house is completed with construction.
Thank you for that
Very true,
answer.
McKenna. Very true.
Yeah, so these tidbits of information, we really appreciate, speaking out and it's not like April mentioned, accounting can take many shapes and forms, and especially with this industry, if you guys have those insights or aha moments in your career, welcome to share that with students to maybe better understand this industry. So the next question is for our construction management folks in the panel. So can you tell us what motivated you to pursue this specific career in the construction management field?
Okay, I will start. Let me just give you a quick background. I grew up, I was raised and grew up in Durango, Mexico, and then I moved to the USA when I was 17 years old. When I was living back in my hometown, I used to work for a construction company as a labor worker. When I was there, I kind of like decided that I wanted to pursue a career in construction, but it wasn't until I moved to the USA when I decided that I actually wanted to pursue something in construction management. I have a brother who works as a carpenter for a concrete company, and he was the one who inspired me to actually follow a career in the construction industry. We used to talk about his anecdotes, as a and his experience as a carpenter for a construction company made me choose construction management as my major, and that's the reason why I'm out here as the superintendent in the field, because I like to be in the field and like to talk to people in the field, and this is what I love to do. So this is the main reason why I decided to choose a career in construction management.
All right, well, I kind of grew up doing construction. My dad was kind of was a carpenter and a farmer, and so in that line of business, you learn to do a lot of stuff yourself. And so I initially started out, I was going to be an architect, and designed my parents' first home. We built that home, and it was kind of a fun process. But then I learned that architects spend a lot of time just in offices. So then I didn't really want to do that, and so I went out and worked as a carpenter. And after getting up at early in the morning and driving out, working in the cold and being out in the weather all the time, I thought, you know what, I better go back to school and do something that's a little more conducive. So that's when I found out about construction management. I was fortunate that a counselor told me about the program. I never heard of it before, and so got into that, and that was right up my alley. And it was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. I love seeing projects go up. I can drive different places all around this country and see a building that I built and look at that and say, wow, we did that job right there. These were the issues we had with it. There's the problems we overcame during the process. And it's just very rewarding to be able to do that. You know, I have 11 grandkids. I can take my grandkids with me now and say, see, grandpa built that building right there. My team did this and that. And so that's the cool part about it.
Thank you for that, Dave and Pablo. The next question is open to all panelists. So the question is, what do you find the most rewarding? And Dave hinted into being able to point out buildings across the city or across the country, but also what do you find challenging? Some of you with the business backgrounds, if you worked in different industries, maybe there's different, pros and cons, but yeah, if you can give us some insight about those rewarding moments and also challenging parts of your job. And we'll start it with Pablo.
As Dave mentioned, it's very rewarding when you and all the workers involved in the project see the final product. You know what it takes to get the job, get the project built, and all the work behind the scenes, and knowing that the building will serve a purpose and that will help people, and especially knowing that the building will be there for decades, kind of like makes you proud of yourself. On the other hand, one of the challenges about the construction industry would be the stress that you sometimes you have to go through. Sometimes you have a concrete pours at 2 a.m. so you have to wake up at 1 a.m. open the job site. So it's kind of like a challenge, and depending on the company you work for, sometimes you have to travel around the state and even throughout the United States. And that's one of the main reasons why I decided to stay local with the local construction company. I gave it a try, worked for a national general contractor, and I just didn't see myself traveling around the state. And in the end, we are not perfect. We all make mistakes, and sometimes out here as a worker as an employee for a construction company, you make mistakes that cost a lot of money, and that's not fun. So that I would say that's one of the main challenges of being in the construction industry.
So I will start with what I find to be the most challenging, not going through classes around like construction or even engineering and being in that field of study. was learning just the different jargon that you use in the construction space. I had no idea what probably studs were, different like framing and all the codes that they talk in, like, oh, it needs to meet this XYZ building code, or it needs to be stamped by this XYZ type of professional with a license. And you're like, what does all of this mean? So I think that was probably one of the more challenging things that I faced entering into a field of like construction and engineering, was just the learning curve of the jargon and the language in which construction people speak. But I think on the flip side, the rewarding side is, for me, is hearing about the future development. Especially working at a civil engineering firm, we kind of get the firsthand knowledge as to what eventually is going to be built in maybe like 5-10 years from now. So it's kind of interesting being a local, Fresno Clovis person, to see like where the future growth of our community has the potential to go, with the conversations that I get to be a part of with different developers and commercial and industrial like spaces and places that are really just making this push and growth to make our valley just a really awesome spot. So that's kind of rewarding, because if you weren't in this space, you might not know that these certain places are coming.
Yeah, one of the other things I love about construction is just the teamwork portion of it. I played a lot of sports growing up, and so there was always a teamwork mentality built into me. And so in construction projects, it's a big team. You've got subcontractors, you've got all the other people that are involved with it, the design side, all the way through the end of the project. So the teamwork has always been very appealing to me. I like that part of it. SPAN, as a construction company, we do work in all 50 states, Canada, Mexico, Spain, and there's Australia, and there's challenges. The biggest challenges that we're recurring for us right now is adequate labor force and the supply chain. We still have not recovered from the COVID pandemic, and so the supply chain hasn't caught up, and it's a constant problem we continually deal with. For example, switchgear right now, if you need it for your project, you're talking a year out before you need to get switchgear, which really is caused a lot of havoc with different clients and being able to get their project done in a timely manner and when they really want it. So those are probably the biggest issues we're dealing with currently.
The most rewarding part of my duty is I get to create like real long lasting relationships with families and individuals from all walks of life. And I hopefully get to improve their life. That's kind of the main goal for me on a unselfish level. I get to help them, and I've been invited to weddings and birthday parties and housewarming parties where I really admire that, man. Like, you know what? I was able to do that to where they trust me to be able to do that. That means a lot to me. On a personal level or a selfish level, with my role, I get to change the scenery as we work in different areas. So we get to work in Clovis, Madera, Fresno. So there's always something new in my line of work. I never really get bored because, we always change the scenery. We always meet people on the daily walking through the front door. And you never know what you're going to get. Like when you meet someone, like for Pablo, like my mom was born in Durango, Mexico. So that was cool hearing that he's born there. Like it's pretty neat. Um, the most challenging is working weekends. I will tell you, if you don't want to work on the weekend, my line of work, if you don't prefer working weekends, probably wouldn't be the best fit for you. Most family functions and events happen on the weekend, so you have to really be able to balance the work life strategically in my line of work.
Okay. I found that the construction industry has been really rewarding because I've just learned so much. There's a lot more to construction than accounting. And it involves accounting. So you have to be, like Dave said, you get to be involved with the team. So that's also a reward, because being able to communicate with everybody, in the field, compliance, everybody, there's a lot, all the departments are involved and you all have to work together and communicate. So that is challenging, but also rewarding, because you all get to see the project at the end. And so that's also rewarding. And like McKenna said, you get to know about different projects going on around the valley. One of them that I was involved with at my last general contractor that I worked for was the city center, and they're building, they're remodeling that hospital to be like a place where the homeless can go and live and be rehabilitated. And so that was really, rewarding to be a part of that. Also, because of all of the reports that go into it, you get to see how profitable or how much you lost on the job. So just knowing that all the work that you put into setting up that project, you're able to see, financially how you did on those projects. But some of the challenges that I've had to deal with is, like McKenna said, the jargon, right? So there's different lingo that accountants use versus the field. And it's almost like you need a translator when the two are trying to communicate, because I've heard that I speak an accountant and people don't know what I'm talking about. And so I've also had to learn how the field speaks and understand, because, as an accountant, we like to be down to the penny, and the field is just like plus or minus a foot. So, meeting somewhere in the middle there has been a challenge, but it's strengthened both of us. So
I love that. Plus or minus a foot. We're somewhere in there. All right. So the next question is for all the panelists again. Besides your bachelor's degree that you earned from Fresno State, as you were getting ready to go into the workforce or you went into your roles, have you had to acquire new certifications or additional training, licenses to be able to do the work that you do? And if so, please, enlighten us how that's been for you.
okay, I think I'm up first. I've taken a lot of classes, like construction accounting classes, to be able to learn those, like a WIP report, a work in progress report, because it's something different that maybe they don't really teach in the classes. Also just strengthening my Excel skills. There's a not Richard, Prior Learning. They have all kinds of classes you can take online, even to be a better communicator, Excel, Word, anything that you need help on. And then also lean classes, because you have to learn a lot about those. But the one thing I wanted to really mention was CFMA. It's Construction Financial Management Association. You just have to pay an annual fee, but you get to be a part of webinars where you learn about different topics that are hot in the industry. Like a lot of them were helpful, especially during COVID, to help with the PPP and the ERC and all those government programs that they had available, but that we weren't maybe educated on because they were new. So being a part of that really helped. If you're going to be an accounting or finance professional in construction, I would definitely recommend joining the CFMA.
So we're really focused on safety in our company. We want to make sure, but it comes home safe as you stay, because there's nothing that we do that's more important in somebody's life. So we focus on safety big time. So having your OSHA 30, anybody that comes to work for us, that's one of the first things that they have to do if they don't have it already. Getting SWIP certified, more and more that's becoming a big deal. If you're not aware of what that is, that's stormwater pollution prevention plans and establishing and knowing dust control and all the projects. And depending on what jurisdiction you're in, there may be additional requirements around that. Like you do any work around Arizona, they have big dust control requirements that you have to get certified if you're doing projects in their area. So those are two big ones. And then one thing I would love is for people to take surveying classes. Being able to read stakes as a builder, walking across the site, knowing how the offsets are, where things are laying out, is a big asset for anybody that's going to be working in the field of construction. So those would be the top ones I would recommend.
Dave, I love you saying that because working at a civil engineering firm, we have a full on-site land surveying department, and it is so interesting seeing all the construction calcs that come back from the field. But so if any of you students out there are ever looking for an internship, come check out Precision Civil Engineering. We definitely have surveying, and you can take Dave's pointers to heart. For myself personally, I haven't needed any certificates or requirements for the positions that I have personally had. But on that same foot, a lot of what I do is a lot of networking. So getting in for me, I'm going to kind of shift this a little bit outside of certificates, but involvement in different programs and affiliations throughout, our valley. So I was a part of Leadership Fresno, which is actually run through the Chamber of Fresno here locally. So that was a cohort that I was a part of that allowed me to network and build connections with 25 other cohort members throughout the Central Valley in various fields of work. And then I currently serve on the alumni board for Fresno State's Craig School of Business. So that in and of itself as well has allowed me to network and meet people from different walks of life, and that also were either friends or alumni of the Craig School of Business and wanting to see our school succeed and continue to grow and getting scholarships for students so we can see them out in the workforce once they graduate from college. So I myself don't have any specific licensings or certificates or anything like that, but that would be my caveat to this: is get yourself involved in as many professional organizations that you can, so you can grow in that networking aspect that is very beneficial as well in the business space.
Just like Dave mentioned, safety is one of the most important aspects of a project job site. And obviously, you want to make sure that all the workers complete their day-to-day activities in a safe manner, and always following the respective safety procedures, OSHA rules and regulations, and things like that. So in the end, you want to ensure that every worker goes home safe. And therefore, I believe safety certifications are always encouraged in the construction industry and are definitely a very helpful tool to run a safe job site.
So in my field, I work with the public, the customers, families, they come to our front door. So in order to do that and to discuss real estate, you need a real estate license is what you need. You have to obtain at least a 70% on the exam, which equates, it's 150 questions. So you have to get at least a minimum of 105 out of 150 correct. You have to renew it every 2 years, thereafter. And we are constantly training though, to be the best at what we do. So like for example, like the next week, our whole team, we're actually heading to Charlotte, North Carolina for training, just to better what we do and serve our public, to the best of our capability. So the one thing I would say is certification. You need that license in order to conduct real estate. But after that, you never want to stop growing. Even no matter what line of work, keep reading a book, go online, educate yourself, be better. It's going to help you become an invaluable tool to be the best in your craft at what you do. So that is kind of what our company does adhere to. Similar to Toyota, their motto is Kaizen, which is constantly improving, continuous improvement. So make sure that you're always heading that direction as an individual. And it doesn't, I was going to mention the final thought. There aren't really any more exams after you get your license. You just have to renew it every 2 years, as mentioned, and it's not that hard. And I don't want to scare you if it sounds overwhelming. It's actually really easy to obtain, I would say, if you prepare properly. A lot of my coworkers and myself, we passed it on the first try. So as long as you prepare properly, you can get it. It's not that unlikely to obtain is my point. You can definitely do it if you want to get into my line of work. And then again, just we are always reading, practicing our craft with real life scenarios and role playing, problem solving situations to help our public and our the people walking through our front door.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And also thank you for those of you that highlighted networking, joining those professional associations. As we experienced with COVID, things happened that never happened before, and funding opportunities or relief programs emerged to support our construction industry. So being, right at the epicenter of the information rolling out on how to apply, how to follow processes and procedures, that's going to evolve, during our entire lives. So thank you for highlighting the lifelong learning, that never stops. So on that note, we're going to go on to the next question for all the panelists, which is for those students that are either in the business disciplines thinking about the construction industry, or CM students or civil engineers, or any student looking into the construction industry as a area of work. Do you have any final thoughts and advice? Like, before you graduate, you should do this. And before think about all your electives, consider maybe a class on this. What would your last, golden nuggets of advice would you recommend for our students watching?
I'm opening that one. My advice to anybody interested in this type of work would be to make sure you enjoy hearing and speaking to people, which, that's going to be a huge part of it. You have to have a strong desire to deal with people's different life hurdles and be the rock that they need in their life for this type of industry. Your main goal would be to find them the right home for their future. That's kind of the fun part. You get to find the home, help them. Top three most emotional things in life are buying a home, having a baby, and getting married. So it's going to be a very emotional and intense deal. You just have to be that rock for them. They're going to come to you and say, hey, man, you know what? I just changed my line of work. I'm freaking out. Like, what do I have to do? And you have to be, don't worry about it. We can navigate through it. You have to be their consultant and navigate them through that. And if you like working with people and consulting with them and helping them and then having fun, with construction and watching the house be built, you're going to love what I do. I love what I do. And I would recommend it, number one.
That's a big question there, and there's different avenues, I guess, you can go for multiple ways. Biggest recommendation I would make is, if you think you might be interested in industry, find people that are in that industry and sit down and talk to them. Invite them to go have coffee and just pick their brains as to what they do on a daily basis. What do they like about their job? What does it make them successful? And be open to listening and just learning about that position before you make that big step. Internships, I highly recommend internships. We make that a practice of having internships with our company, because you get to feel for how the company works, and almost always we make job offers to them upon their graduation. So those are probably the biggest things, but ask questions, listen, learn, be a sponge, and you can find out a lot because most people in the industry are more than willing to share their experience with you.
Okay, well, coming from an accounting background, one of my biggest challenges has been the people aspect of it, because I like burying my head, in the computer. So definitely sharpening your social skills, especially if you want to climb up into management, and being able to explain financial information to higher ups. Definitely that's something that you have to work at, that's maybe not taught in school. And the networking for sure is absolutely key, because that's how I've learned a lot as well, networking with other professionals that I met in CFMA, or even just different subcontractors, speaking to the different accounting staff at different subcontractors that, we helped each other, or if there's ever a problem, they're there for you and whatnot. So
more than anything else, as Dave mentioned, try to look for an internship, and specifically if you're trying to look for something in specifically as a construction management student, you want to find out if that is really something you want to do, because besides choosing the construction industry, you want to ensure that you are in the right role. For example, you could be a scheduler, you could be an estimator, you could be a project manager, you could be a superintendent like myself. You want to explore those different positions, and the best way to do that is by actually doing an internship with the construction company, and then from there, as I mentioned, talk to people in those different roles and ask them about their day-to-day activities, and finally find if this is something you want to do, because in the end, most likely you're gonna do this for the rest of your life, and you want to ensure that you're actually enjoying and loving what you're doing. Otherwise, it's gonna be a miserable life. So more than anything else, internships.
Well, being last, I feel like everybody took all the good nuggets. So I definitely want to echo what everyone's saying. Definitely get plugged in as soon as you can in your college days, into internships, various jobs. I mean, it's scary going into the workforce and maybe not knowing exactly what you want to do. So it's nice kind of having the lesser of the pressure in an internship to kind of figure out, is this what I want to do? Or is this what I want to do? Figuring out the pros and cons to a business or to a field of work. So definitely I would echo what everybody's saying and getting plugged in and into internships. And then I think also you can always learn. So you're going to have coworkers, you're going to have um, mentors and things like that. You always have people that you can learn from. So always be a sponge when it comes to learning, and don't be afraid to ask questions. I know, especially when you're kind of young in your early days in your career, going into a new organization or a new business, you're afraid to ask because you don't want to seem silly or as if it's like a dumb question, but that's how you're going to grow in your career, is by asking these questions, being a sponge to learning and understanding how everything works, and not being afraid to get out there and try and learn and grow from each experience you're given.
Well, thank you all for a lot of insight, a lot of kind of, unless you're in it, you wouldn't know about it, type of information that I hope our students are taking advantage of listening in. And this webinar will also is being recorded. It's going to be in our YouTube channel for our alumni panels. So I encourage you all, if you need to revisit this information, watch it, or you had a friend that couldn't watch it, share this with them. I do have one question from one of our listeners, and it's directed to our CM alumni before I open it up to any other questions. And it was in regards to, they're considering another CM program, it looks like out of state. But in your opinion, what was special about studying construction management at Fresno State? What do you think set our program apart, or you gain, or you really appreciated learning during your time here?
Hey, Pablo.
Okay, yeah, I mean, to me, the construction management department of Fresno State really offers great tools to get to network with the industry members. For example, they usually, for the most part, throughout the semester, bring construction companies to perform informational sessions where you're able to learn from those companies, and then in the end, you get the opportunity to actually interview with those companies, and which could potentially land in an internship. So to me, it's all about getting involved, getting to know all the professors, and asking them for the resources that the construction management offers. And I'm pretty sure they'll give you good insight on what it takes to land an internship, and eventually to graduate and get a full-time position, either in the Central Valley, out of the Central Valley, or even out of California. So to me, I think the construction management is department of Fresno State is really great.
I know I wasn't in construction management at Fresno State, but in my role with my current company, I do a lot of work with Lyles College of Engineering and Construction. So I know Dr. or Dean Nuna is is amazing and is really pursuing such advancement for his college and all the students that get to attend and go are enrolled through those courses. But more so as we just have such an involvement with so many local companies that are very invested in Fresno State and especially into Lyles College. So like Pablo said, there are tons of construction companies, or I even work for a civil engineering firm that happens to have a construction division. And I work with Dave's company, we work with Span Construction a lot. I've worked with Harris Construction and helping with projects in that realm. So um, if you're interested in going out of state, that's great. But Fresno State is amazing because we're so plugged in with our community, and it is such a networking game here when you're trying to go get, your career, your job, and everything after college. And saying you're a graduate from the Lyles College of Engineering is huge for a lot of these local construction companies. They love to see that. They know the type of student that they're gonna be gaining in an employee because of the program that Dean Nuna has built up and the education that you are receiving. So even though I wasn't a student of that college, I definitely get to see the benefits because I have colleagues that were.
I wanted to add to that too. All the insight everyone is giving is right on point. Before you invest your time or pick, where you want to do an internship, the Career Center, we used to offer a PDP, like a personal assessment, to kind of give you some guidance as to what you might be good at or what you like to do. So you can always take an assessment. I'm sure they have them at the Career Development Center, or you can go online and take one. So it's a questionnaire. They'll ask you questions as to what you prefer doing or your style of work, and then it might guide you. And then you can do what all my colleagues said earlier. You can kind of figure out, okay, where do I want to do an internship based on that PDP? So that might be a good start. You may already be aware of that, but it is kind of a good gauge to figure out what you might enjoy doing for your career.
Yes, awesome for that, and thanks for the plug, Eric. The Career Center, all our listeners, it's a service that it's part of your tuition and fees when you're a student here. So definitely take, advantage of the resources. I don't know if you had anybody in this panel, maybe you heard this, but once you graduate college, the services are, primarily targeted to when you're in school. So those students that don't take advantage of our services and then look for career support, now you got to pay for that service. So, we definitely encourage students to take advantage, utilize the services. And a little plug-in, we do have some events still happening this semester for those students listening in. We have, my colleague just shared with me, 2 companies looking for CM interns coming up to one of our internship networking events. I think Dave, your company may be looking for interns. If I'm know correctly, you want to do a quick plug-in for your internship opportunities at Stan?
Span Construction currently has a huge need for workforce across the board, including the internships. And the internships typically will bring in your work within various different departments. Mostly they'll be in the pre-construction, working with the estimating team and the business development managers and putting together projects on the front end. Some occasions you'll be put out to a local job site and work from the job site as like an assistant to the project manager. So we have tons of needs. We need project managers, estimators. If you ever have wanted a golden career, estimators are probably in the highest demand of any position within this industry. Has been that way for years, and I don't think it's going to change. It takes a special type of person to be an estimator. You have to build a project in your head in 3 weeks and put it together versus a superintendent who gets 6 months to a year to build it. So it's highly specialized, and it takes a skilled individual with certain mentality to be an estimator. So we're always looking for estimators. So put that plug out there.
Awesome, thanks for that. And any of you, if your current companies takes internships or want to give advice on students how to approach those, this is like your ad space. So feel free to speak on that. And if not, it looks like we answered. Go for it. Go for it.
I'll go. I know I
Yeah.
said it earlier, but yes, we Precision Civil Engineering. You can go to our website. There's a careers page, and we're always taking internship applications and trying to fill the need. Yes, we are first and foremost a civil engineering firm, but we have multiple different divisions throughout our organization. And like Dave said, if you're going to be in construction, you need to know how to survey. So we definitely take on survey crew members especially during the summers. We're always looking to fill the need there, and but as well as construction management. If you have a thought or want to do civil engineering, I know they're out in the field, there's field engineers, and you do need to have like kind of a background and understanding in civil 3D or AutoCAD. So, we can help train and teach you guys that through internship programs here at Precision Civil Engineering. But yes, so our website, precisioneng.net, that's my plug. You can definitely go there and see the different opportunities that we have for interns.
Awesome. Any last minute takers? If not, we're going to go ahead and close. All right. So on that note, thank you so much to our panelists. Thank you really, really so much for all this insight. This is a lot of information even for me that I didn't know about the estimators, the kind of mentality they need to have. So it's helping me become a better career counselor. And I know our students took a lot of golden nuggets and wisdom from you. This will be posted. Give us about a week into our YouTube channel. Those that are listening, if you have someone that you know can benefit from listening to this, so check out our YouTube channel. But on that note, I believe everybody's on LinkedIn as well. So if any of our attendees wants to connect with, alumni like the ones you see on your screen, or other alumni doing amazing things in specific industries, we encourage you to get on LinkedIn. We encourage you to come and work with one of our career counselors to make sure you look good on LinkedIn, and that way you start making some really good connections, and who knows, maybe even apply to jobs with that profile. So once again, thank you all, and we'll go ahead and close it, and hope you all have a good rest of your day. Bye, everybody.